So now we are on the chapter 18 of Bhagavad Gita, and this is the final chapter, and it's a very interesting chapter. So now Arjuna is asking the question to Krishna. He says, I wish to know the truth about sannyasa and the renunciation and the difference between them, right? So this sannyasa is, in a way, a general understanding of sannyasa is somebody who left the household life, who left everything, and he just went to some monastery, or maybe he just went to forest, something like this. That's a general understanding of sannyasa, and the renunciation, right? So he's saying, I want to know this from you. What exactly is your point of view about these things, right? And Krishna answers, the relinquishment or the letting go, the relinquishment of action prompted by selfish desire, the sages understand as sannyasa, right? The relinquishment of the fruit of all actions, wise declared to be renunciation. Yeah. So basically, he's saying the letting go of the action which is selfish or which is self-oriented, like for desire for worldly success or things like these. So letting go of these kind of desires are considered as a sannyasa. So sannyasa is a person who doesn't want anything from himself, right? So he won't perform any action which is bringing any kind of gratification to himself, right? Because he is more interested in the more deeper aspect of the self as compared to fulfilling sense desire and worldly pursuits and all these kind of stuff. So that is the sannyasa according to Krishna. And then he said the letting go of all the fruit of the action, right? The voice declared to be renunciation. This is interesting. Here the person is subtle. The difference is the subtle. It may sound like pretty similar, but there's a subtle difference here, right? The renunciation, what Krishna is referring as a renunciation, is more like you are still acting, you are still doing all the things, but at the same time you have let go of the attachment to the fruit of the action, right? You are acting, but you do not own the result of that action, right? You have completely let go of the result of the action, which is more subtler thing to do, but that is what is considered the renunciation. So this is the difference what he has given. Now he says, some men of wisdom declare that action is to be abandoned altogether because it is evil, and others says the act of sacrifice, giving and austerity should never be abandoned, right? So the understanding here is like whenever you do some action, it creates some disturbance in the mind as a result, right? And the attachment, it has this own cycle going on, right? If you are doing some action, it will create the reaction, then that reaction become an action. So the whole cycle continues like that. And he's saying that some people declares that you should be renounce the all action together, right? Now he has talked about this before also in the earlier chapter about the yoga of action, in the sense it is impossible. You cannot, even for survival you need to act, right? So it is impossible to renounce all the actions here. But then some people are, he's saying some people of wisdom says they try to abandon all the action, right? Because all the actions are evils, which is not very practical. On the other hand, people says the sacrifice, giving and austerity are not to be abandoned, right? Even if you are self-realized or if you are higher of the highest, you should not abandon these kind of actions: sacrifice, giving and austerity, yajna, tap and dana, right? So now Krishna is telling what is his opinion about this thing. He says act of sacrifice, yajna, giving, dana and austerity, tapa, are not to be abandoned, right? But rather to be performed, and sacrifice, giving and austerity are purifier for those who are even wise, right? So he's saying these actions does not have any issues, right? These actions are even purifier for the people who are highly self-realized, or purifier of even the wise person, right? So he's clearly saying sacrifice, giving and austerity should never be abandoned. Doesn't matter at what level you are, right? Now he has already given the example of what exactly is the sacrifice, what is giving, what is austerity and all these kind of things. For the quick review, sacrifice is more like a yajna, which could be some ritualistic task. On the other hand, he also mentioned something like your practice of yoga or your self-study. These things are also considered as a yajna. Giving is a dana, right kind of dana. It means right person, right time, with respect, with no intention of getting anything back. You are doing the charity. And austerity means more like on three level: body, mind and speech. So for one example, on the level of speech could be you are saying the nice and truthful words, right? So something which is beneficial for other person, truthful, but at the same time not harsh or getting somebody distressed. That could be the austerity of the speech, because a general tendency would be something else. So these kind of actions are nobody should be abandoning these actions, even doesn't matter how wise somebody is. These actions, however, are to be performed abandoning the attachment to the fruit. This is my definite and the highest ideology. So he's saying these actions should be performed, right? Even this action of austerity and even this action of sacrifice and giving should never get attached to the fruit of them. Getting attached to the fruit, or in other words, you can say expectation, right? Building expectation around these things are going to be create the problem. These expectation, or what to say is these attachment to the fruit of the action itself becomes a hindrance of these kind of actions, right? So he's saying you should be always performing this action, renouncing to the fruit of the action. Yeah. But the renunciation of obligatory actions or your duties is not proper, right? And the abandonment of it through delusion is proclaimed to be tamasic. So whatever is your duty, right? Whatever one of your duty could be taking care of your body, right? Another one of your duty could be, let's say you have a child, taking care of your child, and leaving these kind of action, or whatever role you are playing in the society, leaving these kind of action, Krishna is saying, is tamasic in the nature, is like deluded action, and it's going to only bring the suffering to you. General understanding of this sannyasa in terms of leaving your family altogether, even if you have child, or even if you have dependent people on you, and doing some kind of sadhanas and all that, he's clearly mentioning these kind of actions are not proper. These are not proper action, and they are more tamasic in the nature. On the other hand, he who abandons the action merely because the action itself is difficult, or because the fear of bodily suffering, like the current situation, Arjuna is fighting a war. It's not a pleasant thing to do, right? So if somebody abandons the action merely because the action is very difficult, or because the fear of the bodily suffering, these kind of action, so he performs the rajasic renunciation. He's renouncing these action, but this renunciation is rajasic in the nature, and there is no fruit of that renunciation, right? The fruit of the renunciation would be something like a peace of mind, right? If you don't care about, if you're not attached to the fruit of action, or if you don't have expectation, in that case your mind is going to be peaceful, right? Here, if you're abandoning the fruit, if you're abandoning the action because you are afraid of it, or because you're afraid of the suffering or bodily suffering it causes, right? That way the mind is never going to be peaceful, right? Your mind is going to be, running in the cycles of self-judgment, and if I have done this and that. So there is no fruit of renunciation there. Yeah. When action is done because it is a duty, Arjuna, and abandoning the attachment to the fruit, such renunciation is thought to be sattvic, right? That's what he's recommending all the way. Do the action, whatever is your duty, and do it without any attachment to the fruit, right? Whatever you are doing, do it without any attachment of the fruit, thinking like it is your duty. This is something which is my duty, or this is something which I am supposed to be doing, right? Based on my nature. The man of renunciation, the wise man whose doubt is cut away, filled with goodness, does not hate disagreeable action, nor he is attached to the agreeable action, right? Simple teaching. Once you have denounced the fruit of the action, you should not be, I don't like to do this, I like to do that. That kind of thinking will not be there. Once you have, cut away your doubts with the real knowledge and the renounce of the fruit of the action. So he doesn't care so much like what is agreeable to me and what is not agreeable to me, that sort of thing. Okay. Indeed, embodied beings are not able to abandon actions entirely. Then abandoning the fruit of the action is called a man of renunciation. And this is one of the central teaching of Bhagavad Gita, right? This is why Bhagavad Gita is so popular, because it talks about this level, right? It talks about on the level of action and renouncing the fruit of the action instead of, renouncing the action or trying a different way. He's saying the way of attaining the peace is renounce the fruit of the action. Learn to do that, right? And it is doable. It is something that we can practice. It is very doable. And the person who abandons the fruit of the action is called the man of renunciation.